assume, Jamie, you don't have any problems with the other manufacturers helping as long as you're in front, right?
I like how it turned out. You can do all he wants, working with anybody he wants, as long as it ends this way.
Very good. All right, we got another one here, Trevor. Let me see. How do you compare ARCA, another class racing, to the Cup Series?
Well, I never raced ARCA, but I did run the K&N East Series, which used to be Camping World East Series, and then the USAR Pro Cup Series. But I can't multitask. That's another downfall of Trevor Bayne. Anyways, the series, the difference is, when you make the step from, I started in go-karts and I stepped to the Allison Legacy Series, which is a 3/4 scale car with 120 horsepower. That was a decent step. And then I made the step from that 120 horsepower car to a 630 horsepower Brewers Pro Cup car, full-size car, didn't run any late models, and that was a big step. And then obviously some Brewers Pro Cup at Canon East to Nationwide. That was pretty, that was not as big of a step, but I'll tell you, the step from Nationwide to Cup has been the biggest step yet. Even though the cars are very similar and racing the same tracks, the competition level there is unbelievable. I mean, when you're running 20th, you look around and there's Matt Kenseth, and then there's Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson and David Reagan, and you're like, what in the world? How are there so many good guys out here? And I mean, every one of them that are in that 43 class build that weekend are just incredible. So I'd say that's the biggest difference. The cars, they're a little bit different. You got to be more careful with the Cup cars when you get beside people. The aero balance. These new COTs have a lot of air on the side of them. So when you get beside somebody, it really changes the way that they drive. So I'd say the competition standpoint and then the aero are the two biggest things that I've felt.
Do you notice that change in the aerodynamics beside one another more than when you're catching up to someone coming up behind them?
Well, when you're behind them, when you're catching them, it takes air off the nose, which makes the car generally tighter. So you're putting more wheel into it, kind of fighting it. But then when you get beside them, it's a handful because you lose all of your side grip. So then you're loose and then you're tight. You can't get it in the racetrack. So that's when you're most at risk, is when you're beside them.
Is that whether you're on the inside or the outside?
Inside mainly. If you're on the outside, you have air on your right side.
All right, there's nothing like getting in trouble in a public forum like I just did. So, no, Sam did. She reminded me I wasn't saying who was asking the questions. The first one came from Patty O'Connor. Sorry, Patty, I missed you. And the second one came from Jerry Hallbach. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I made up for it, Sam. You got the name right. All right, next for Trevor. What is your favorite racetrack besides MIS?
Besides MIS, man, I don't know if there is another one.
Allison Katie, sorry.
Bristol. I'd have to say Bristol. That's my home track. I see a Tennessee hat over here, and that's good. It's like a gladiator arena. I mean, I don't really know how to describe it, or a bullfighting place or something. I mean, it's the fans and the way it's all compact. The way that the racing is there, and I grew up going there. I've been going there since I was 5 years old, so to finally race there, I'd say Bristol. It's the toughest to get results at because there's so many factors that can take you out, but it's definitely fun to race at, besides MIS.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And maybe the first time you get to see your house again.
It might be. Yeah, I got to go there for like a half a day, so that was good, but yeah, it'll be good to go home.
All right, Frank Beeman, do you expect to drive for Roush full-time in Sprint Cup? And if so, when?
I'd love to hang out with these guys. I lost my mind.
Now you're in trouble.
I'm a mess up here. Okay, so what I was saying is I'd love to be with the Wood Brothers forever. I mean, we've already seen success, but whatever happens, I'm good with it. The Roush guys pick me up. I'm running their nationwide cars. I don't know really what's going to happen. If they want me to run for them, I'm good with that too. So we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. I'm happy, very happy with the situation I'm in. Cup with them and nationwide with Roush, and you never know what the future holds. So either way, I'm more than happy to be there.
Well, this is a great segue then, because Bill Nichols wants to know how you got hooked up with the Wood Brothers.
It was through Roush Fenway. They picked me up after the Diamond Waltrip deal kind of came to an end last year with just finding sponsorship. It's nothing other than that. I mean, I can't thank those guys enough for taking the chance on me Nationwide, letting me show my talents to be able to have this opportunity. Jack Roush saw me, and I was released from there on a Wednesday. He picked me up on a Thursday, and we were racing. So, it was really cool to see him pick me up that fast. Then what happened was we had planned on maybe running a few races this year. You can run 5 teams if you have a rookie driver for up to 7 races. So I think Jack had kind of intended on maybe me running a 5th car. These guys were running last year, kind of part-time like we're doing this year, and then he had talked to them, and they said, you know, they'd let you run Texas to get approval for Daytona, and then we kind of see what happens. Well, we hit it off so good at Texas and ran so well, and I mean, it just clicked with these guys. They're racers, they're family guys, and they come, I mean, they're just awesome people to work with. And so we clicked, and you know, we started talking about it, like, hey, we should do this again next year or something. And they kind of gave me that option, and obviously we took it, because it was a really good opportunity to drive for these guys.
Hey, Andy and Lynn, now that you've got this victory, and you've been running well the last few races, do you have the bug to go full-time again?
We're going to run 18 races, and we're looking, if something pops up, we're ready to go. We're going to run the first 8 right now, and then kind of trail off into the schedule we had past a couple of years, if nothing else shows up. But, you know, we're looking for it, but if nothing happens, you know, we're still okay.
Oops, that was actually the next question, sorry. I stole that from Ryan Shipman, who wanted to know exactly that. Given your recent success to drive, are you guys going to run full time? So thanks for answering. All right, Trevor. Next one comes. Got more cards in hand here. Brandon wants to know, at what age did you start racing?
I started at 5 years old in go-karts. My little brother is 7 now. He's actually going to run his first race this weekend. So I'm pumped to go watch him and see how scared my parents were for me. You know, yeah, it's in Tennessee. A little story about my first race. It wasn't as good as the 500, I can tell you that. My dad was talking to me, and I was racing against a kid who had been racing about 2 years already. And Dad said, all right, now you just go out there and do all you can and do whatever you can to keep up. So about lap 10, he's a half lap ahead of me. I look over and I see him, and I take off across the infield. So I just turn left, go across the infield, hit the wall, bounce off, and I ran the whole race going across the infield trying to catch him. So you gotta be careful what you tell 5-year-olds when they start racing. So come a long way from it, though.
That's good. You wouldn't want to do that now.
That's why they put the walls in the infield now. So
So you were part of that innovation.
yeah, so we got it.
All right, I think it's Chelsea Ward. Did I get that right? All right, we're going to get to the serious questions now. She wants to know, how does it feel to have more Twitter followers than Jeff Gordon?
That's serious, huh? No, it's crazy. You know, went from 5,000 to like 43,000, and now I just get people mad at me if I don't retweet everybody. But you know, it's cool to see that many people involved, and you know, I worked at it for like a year trying to get followers, and I was only up to 5,000, and Ricky Stenhouse, my nationwide teammate, and I were in a battle, you know, and I was beating by like 1,000, and after the 500, I was like, I got you now. So now he's asking me to tweet at him to get him followers. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, we got a question for the Wood Brothers here from James Crosby. And I'd like to know if you guys are going to run a nationwide car anytime in the future.
No. No, we're concentrating solely on our Cup car. Trevor's already got a really good ride with Roush anyway in the 16 car. So now we're going to stick primarily to the Spring Cup, and you know, hopefully add to our schedule to find more money.
All right, we got just a few more questions here. Thank you all for answering them, and thank all of you for asking them. We got Scott Rakowski. Scott would like to know, Trevor, at what point during the season will you make it, or this season, what point do you think that you guys will start making decisions about next season? Keep running nationwide or move on?
It seems like that date moves further and further back every year with the way that everything is, trying to work on sponsorship and partners on the car. You know, the decision for this wasn't made until, I don't know, a month before Daytona maybe? Yeah, or, you know, leading right up to Daytona. So I think you're going to see that more and more in the sport, those dates being pushed back. So I don't know, I mean, we'll just keep seeing how it goes and race week to week, and then whatever happens, happens. I mean, I think we're okay. I think we're going to be all right either way, but, you know, I don't know what the plans are. Obviously, I'm a Roush driver nationwide and a Roush driver long term, but, you know, racing with these guys for now, and I'm happy to be